what's up, everyone, and welcome to our 5th episode of Lock Into Esports with your hosts,
Cerberus
and Ham, going over everything esport and gaming from this past week. If you're cruising around, working out, or just like listening to podcasts, we also post an audio-only version on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Today's episode schedule listed off. We have updates on how the Ukraine war is affecting esports and gaming, Apex Legends ALGS, esports news, League of Legends Academy at LCS, gaming news, Call of Duty CDL, Counter-Strike's ESL, streamer news, Valorant VCT, upcoming games and updates, then closing us out with the top 3 videos of the week. Let's lock into esports. Alrighty, to start off the show, we're going to start off again with a very serious matter. The war going on between Russia and Ukraine. Again, we understand there's much more serious consequence of the war than a hinder on the gaming industry. And although we both have a lot to say, this show is purely about gaming and esports, so we will only be going over how the war is affecting the gaming world. Our hearts go out to all affected by this war and hope for the quickest and safest resolution. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's start off with bans and changes. EA has banned players and teams who reside in Russia and Belarus from Apex Legends and FIFA competitions. Stalker 2 and Crusader Kings 3 have made small changes in game showing their support for Ukraine. And WoW players in Ukraine are getting hit with bans by Blizzard for living close to a sanctioned region, aka Russia, ever since Blizzard halted services to Russia.
Russia and Ukrainian people being paid has been a big change as well. Valve has made a list of requirements for Eastern Europe's Dota Pro Circuit Spring Tour to return, including the teams to confirm ahead of time when they'll be playing, like a set schedule to make sure the games are broadcasted to the specific fan base. Valve also needs confirmation that the teams are allowed to receive prize money at the end of the season, since most orgs stated Russian players can't receive prize money. And lastly, that the teams have or can get visas to travel for the spring tour majors. Valve is also currently sending emails to Ukrainian game developers informing them that they will not be getting paid from their games due to the current environment. Valve also isn't paying Russia and Belarus, which makes sense, but everyone is confused why they're also including Ukraine. Valve has not yet released a statement on why they decided on these changes, whether it be political or intentional complication of sanctions against Russia and Belarus. There's so much going on. There was even a deepfake video of the Ukrainian president that was shared on a hacked Ukrainian news station's Facebook, where the fake was telling Ukraine to lay down arms. For Facebook, Facebook has finally taken that down, but that's pretty scary. But on a positive note, there have been some huge donations this past week to help humanitarian efforts in Ukraine.
There has been. First of all, Square Enix has donated over $500,000 to help Ukraine. 2 weeks ago, we talked about itch.io, and they were creating a 1,000-game bundle to help support Ukraine. Last week, we said their goal was $1 million. However, they've hit $2 million in a day. The bundle ended on the 18th of March at 3 a.m., raising an incredible $6.3 million. In a prior show, we stated Humble Bundle will be doing a charity bundle benefiting Ukraine. Well, it's out, folks. For about $40, you can get 122 games, said to be over $2,500 worth of content. Some of the games included are Back for Blood, Metro Exodus, Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, Max Payne 3, and the Spyro trilogy, which has raised already over $12 million for Ukraine. And then lastly, Epic has pledged that all Fortnite proceeds made until April 3rd will be going towards the Ukrainian relief effort. In just the first day, they raised $36 million. I can't wait to see how much that total will be. It's an absolutely beautiful thing to see.
Absolutely. We will do our best every single week to keep everyone up to date on how the war is affecting the gaming world. We are deeply saddened by this absolute madness, with our hearts going out to everyone involved. We stand with Ukraine and hope for nothing but peace. Moving on to our regular scheduled program, here's a little Apex Legends to start us off.
Well, folks, Apex Legends returned this week with more matches in Split 2. Here's how the games played out. On the 19th, 6 more rounds were played where teams tried to place as well as possible to improve their standings for this split. First up was Group B versus Group D, battling it out. NRG and W played well, with both teams winning 2 rounds. NRG did a little bit better in their wins, taking 10 slays in one and 11 in the other. W, on the other hand, did just under that, taking 9 and 8 slays in their 2 wins, hurting them a little bit in their battle versus NRG. The third and fourth place teams from this week also placed well, but not through the wins, only through the slays.
Sentinels placed third, and Space Station Gaming placed fourth.
And then on day 2 of matches this weekend, on the 20th, it brought Group A squaring up against Group C. In these matches, Cloud9 showed up to prove a point by taking 2 first place round wins and 1 second place finish with 13 slays. That showing was enough to place them in first. G2 also came to play by placing second with 1 first place round win and 2 second place finishes.
Esports Arena and 100 Thieves also placed well, doing so with third and fourth place.
Now, after 2 weeks of play, here's the current standings for ALGS for Split 2. In first, it's Esports Arena Red with 66 points. Second is NRG with 62. Third is 100 Thieves with 60 points. Fourth is Cloud9 with 58. Also tied with them in fourth is G2 with 58 points. Sixth is TSM with 56 points. Seventh is CLG with 42. Also tied with Space Station Gaming. And then in ninth, we have 2 teams tied with Sentinels and Team Liquid, both with 40 points. Now, that's all we have for you this week in ALGS. Ham, what you got in the world of esports news?
Quite a bit here. Valorant team Renegades is telling their players to explore other options amid uncertainty of the org staying. Renegades joined the North American Valorant scene in July of 2020, but with very little success. 2020, they made it to the quarterfinals of VCT, but fell short. They had a good bit of success in the Nerd Streets Gamer Summer Championship, but then fell short again in 2021 and 2022, where the Renegade didn't even make it to qualifiers in VCT. A member of Renegade has told Esports that there's a lot of uncertainties right now within the org as they are exploring a bunch of options. Renegade is currently scheduled to play in the Knights Monthly Gauntlet, but after that, we aren't quite sure what the future of Renegade has in store with Valorant in North America.
Well, this is unfortunate for the players, but this is how the world of esports works. No performance, no money. Hopefully the players can find a home with other orgs.
You ain't never lied. Last week,
I'm sure I have.
Probably. Last week, we discussed in CDL how Paul X was subbing for London while Gizmo took some personal time to handle serious personal matters for 2 weeks. Well, I then read an article earlier last week that stated New York subliners were in discussion to pick up Paul X as soon as those 2 weeks were up. Now, up to date, to update it, the subliners did in fact pick up Paul X, which then resulted in the benching of the OG 3-time world champion CDL Pro Clayster. This was announced by Dextero Esports via Twitter before subliners publicly announced the information themselves, resulting in Clayster tweeting at Dextero, "Appreciate the respect and consideration, announcing something before it's announced," with a thumbs up. Clayster since then has come out and said he is not ready to retire and is looking for opportunities in other teams. Drama aside, I hope this is the puzzle piece subliners has been missing, because they've tried many other pieces thus far and their season has been so rough and quite frankly pretty hard to watch. So hopefully fourth time's the charm.
Hopefully, I mean, New York did well against their in their game against Paris, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I, I'm not sure this is the only change they need. Honestly, there's a large amount of dysfunctionality in that team right now. Not sure where it's coming from. I'm sure it's not the players. I'm sure it's more of a system issue. But I think they may need one more change, and Clayster will find a home on another org. He's stated, like you said, he's not ready to retire. So there will be a team that can use his talents somewhere, maybe like, I don't know, Paris, Minnesota, Seattle. Maybe one of those teams could use his talents. I don't
Someone
know.
I'm sure will definitely pick him up. He
Oh,
is
yeah.
such an OG and he is still a beast. All right, let's go ahead and hit on with the rapid fire. So, Join Dota, one of Dota 2's oldest tournament organizers, is set to shut down March 31st, running from 2011 to 2022. Gears of War developers announced this current season of their esports program will be their last. Gambit sporting director Groove has announced he will be stepping down as sporting director to focus specifically on coaching. CSGO pro team Strife cut CXZI mid match after the first map, losing 16-5 on Overpass for having one of the worst individual performances of his career, going 5-17 just after the first map alone. Lastly, Overwatch League will return back to live events on May 6th in Texas with the Battle for Texas matchup, including teams Houston Outlaws and Dallas Fuel.
Well, as a massive Gears of War fan, I am so sad to see that the esports program is coming to an end. Uh, we have had some greats come out of the scene, most notably, everyone knows this name, Nick Merckx. It's sad to see the end of an era, and we won't get to see any more greats come from the scene. So just makes me sad.
Absolutely. Sayonara Gaming News, let's get into some League, Cerberus.
Well, for Academy this week, it was the beginning of Proving Ground Spring, and teams started their journey through the tournament with knockout rounds. Meanwhile, LCS continued also this week with another 2 sets of matches to improve their position for the end of the spring split. Starting off with Academy, here's what we saw. The first 2 matches brought 2 knockout round games. It was the Maryville Saints were up against Evil Geniuses Academy, where EG was able to walk away with a comfortable 2-0 win.
Next up was Wildcard Gaming up against 100 Thieves Academy, which had a similar result as the match before with 100 Thieves.
And then 2 more matches occurred on the 17th. First up was the Wild Card Aces squaring off against FlyQuest Academy, where trends continued and FlyQuest walked 2-0 dub.
TSM Academy took on Maryville University next, where Maryville put up a fight, but TSM strolled away with the 2-1 win.
And then matches concluded for Academy this week on the 18th. The first of the last 2 matches was Immortals Academy taking on Taco Gaming, love the name, where Immortals walked away with a 2-0 win.
EG Prodigies took on Golden Guardians Academy next, and it was the same story, different characters, with GG winning the game 2-0.
I'm not going to lie, outside the Academy games, I have no idea who these other teams are. So we're just speeding through these this week because there are bigger matches to come. Anyways, moving on to LCS. We had our first match of the weekend in Immortals taking on 100 Thieves. 100 T came out and dominated in this match, completely boxing out Immortals from doing much of anything in this game. Immortals tried to win through the top lane, while 100 T took the same approach through the mid. However, 100 T's plan was better executed as they were able to take jungle, ADC, and support as well.
100T had a dominating 16 slays, 11 towers, 5 dragons, and 1 baron with Abadegas. Excuse me. With that KDA being 7, 1, and 3. Immortals had only 6 slays, nothing else, with 14,000 less gold in this 29-minute match.
Counter Logic Gaming took on Team Liquid in the next match, and it was an absolute rout. Team Liquid came out and manhandled CLG in this one, only giving up 1 tower. TL controlled every single statistical category and completely shut down CLG in this match.
TL had a dominating 19 slays, 10 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with Santorin and Bjergsen, KDA being 5, 1, and 9. CLG had 7 slays and 1 tower with 13,000 less gold on this 28-minute match.
And then the third match of the day brought us one of the most surprising matchups of this split. So in Cloud9 against TSM. Cloud9 is currently first in the standings, and TSM has continued their run at the bottom of the league. And somehow in this match, TSM was able to walk away with the win. TSM was able to do so by taking bot lane, where they were out damaged, but were able to better utilize the damage that they did do in taking towers and gold. C9 attacked through the mid and top lanes, but their hemorrhaging through the bot lane ended up costing them the match.
TSM had 22 slays, 11 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with Spica's KDA being 5, 1, and 15. C9 had 11 slays, 3 towers, 1 dragon, and 1 baron, with 11,000 less gold on this 35-minute, very surprising match.
Very surprising. And then match 4 brought us Dignitas battling it out with Evil Geniuses. EG was able to deal most of their damage through mid and bot lanes, while Dignitas did so through the top lane, while teams split jungle damage. However, with EG attacking both mid and bot lanes, they were able to take an early gold lead that carried them throughout the match. This gave EG the match and brought these two teams even in the standings.
EG had 9 slays, 11 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with Inspired's KDA being 5, 0, and 1. Dignitas had 4 slays, 1 tower, and 1 dragon, with 13,500 less gold on this 33-minute match.
And then in the final match of the day, it gave us a thrashing by Golden Guardians on FlyQuest. GG said, GG, bro, and took every single statistical category in this one, beating FlyQuest in damage dealt and gold gained in every single position on the map. Unfortunately for FlyQuest, they were not able to get anything going in this one and lost it to a very solid performance from GG.
GG had 12 slays, 8 towers, 1 dragon, and 1 baron, with Pride Stalker's KDA of 4, 0, and 6. FlyQuest had 3 slays, 5 towers, and 2 dragons on this 27-minute match.
And then a banger of a match was on the cards to start Sunday the 20th with Evil Geniuses taking on 100 Thieves. This match was absolutely grueling for both squads, and it lasted almost 49 minutes. Jungle was evenly split early on, where EG was able to capitalize on the small space that they had to make some early gains. However, things started to change around the 15-minute mark, where 100T was able to take their first tower. After that, 100T started taking dragons like it was their primary occupation, taking 3 in a row and the first Baron. EG was able to pull it back a bit after that by taking the next Baron and Dragon, but after that, it was all 100T. On the downhill side of this match, 100T took another Dragon and Baron, where they were able to use the powers granted by the enemies, and it ended up giving them the match.
100T had 16 slays, 11 towers, 5 dragons, and 2 barons, with some days KDA being 3-0 and 5. EG had 10 slays, 6 towers, 2 dragons, and 1 baron in this almost 50-minute match.
Yeah. And then in the next match of the day,
Okay, don't hurt yourself.
Oh, okay.
In the next match of the day, Golden Guardians took on Dignitas. To start out this match, Dignitas was a match ahead of Golden Guardians in the standings, so this one was absolutely crucial for them. GG came out with control through top, mid lane, and jungle, and in those 3 areas, GG was able to take the win in the game, even though they had lost out in both bot lane and support.
GG had 16 slays, 9 towers, 1 dragon, and 1 baron, with Pride Stalkers again, KDA being 6, 2, and 7. Dignitas had 10 slays, 1 tower, and 3 dragons on this 27-minute match.
And then in the next match of the day, Team Liquid took on FlyQuest. This was a surprising match as Team Liquid has been dominant this entire split and had a chance to prove that they should move up to the top spot in the standings, with Cloud9 losing their match the day before. However, FlyQuest came to play, being able to control mid and bot lane, and only lost out in damage dealt in the top lane. TL, however, was not able to capitalize on their top lane damage and ended up losing the match.
FlyQuest had 12 slays, 9 towers, 4 dragons, and 2 barons, with Johnson's KDA being 6-0 and 1. TL had 9 slays, 8 towers, 3 dragons, and 1 baron on a well-fought 41-minute match.
Well, after that performance, Cloud9 was next up against Counter Logic Gaming, with CLG at the bottom of the standings and Cloud9 coming off an embarrassing loss the day before. This was set up to be a match that Cloud9 could not afford to lose if they wanted to stay at the top of those standings. They were able to do so, fortunately for them, by controlling everything damage-wise except for support and bot lane.
C9 had a dominating 20 slays, 9 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with Blabber's KDA of 6-0 and 12. CLG had 6 slays, 2 towers, and 1 dragon, with 12,000 less gold on this 36-minute match.
And then in the final match of the weekend, Immortals took on TSM. Immortals were able to control the map through the jungle and mid lane, but TSM showed up overwhelmingly through top and bot lanes. In these lanes, TSM was able to deal 21.1% more damage than Immortals. Naturally, in these lanes, TSM was able to acquire the gold advantage. However, they did drop the dragon advantage, but were able to make up with more barons to offset that deficit. For those reasons, TSM was able to take this one away from Immortals and walk away with another win in this split.
TSM had 16 slays, 11 towers, 2 dragons, and 2 barons with honeys, I don't know, I'll say honeys, KDA of 6, 1, and 7. Immortals had 14 slays, 3 towers, and 3 dragons with 10,000 less gold on this 31-minute match. The games brought some surprises this week as teams were trying to improve their standings in the league, the split, and here is how it all shook out. So first we have first place. We have Cloud9 with 12 wins and 3 losses. Second, we have Team Liquid with 11 wins, 4 losses. Third, 100 Thieves, 10 wins, 5 losses. Fourth, FlyQuest, 8 wins, 7 losses. Fifth, we actually have a 3-way tie with Evil Geniuses, Dignitas, and Golden Guardians with 7 wins and 8 losses. Eighth, we have Counter Logic Gaming with 5 wins and 10 losses. And surprising, we actually have a tie for ninth place, and it is TSM and Immortals. Without TSM being dead last like they were, they finally got themselves on the board of not being complete last. So TSM and Immortals are 4 wins and 11 losses.
Hey, it's good they're off the bottom of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
That's
or at
all
least
they're
sharing
shooting
the
for at
bottom
this
of the
point.
barrel now.
Hey, Immortals, you can have this half of the bottom of the barrel. We'll take the other half.
Sharing is caring.
Okay, all right. Just so that we're not in last by ourselves. I don't know why I'm talking like that, but anyways.
Sure.
With those standings, it's not surprising to see some of the top teams' players performing at the top of the league. Here is who stood out most in the league so far to date. In first, we have Bjergsen of Team Liquid with a 9.3 KDA with 44 slays, 16 deaths, and 104 assists. In second, you have Berserker of Cloud9 with a 6.8 KDA with 56 slays, 19 deaths, and 74 assists. In third, it's Fudge of Cloud9 with a 6.3 KDA with 46 slays, 23 deaths, and 100 assists. In fourth, we have our top farmer in Danny of Evil Geniuses with a 10.3 creep score per minute. And then in fifth, rounding out our standings, we have Hansama of Team Liquid with a 10 creep score. Well, folks, that is all we have for you this week in League of Legends. Hammy, what you got for us in gaming news?
In our first episode, we talked about how esports will be joining the Commonwealth Games. Well, they released specifically what the games will feature. So games include Dota 2, eFootball, and Rocket League. This is an amazing start to combining physical sports and esports together, taking it more seriously, and I am stoked. This event will take place August 6th and 7th. We will be following these events as they approach to see how they go. As Commonwealth Games are known to be not toxic, hopefully, esports players will oblige. So please stay and hang out with us.
So glad to see the combination of real and virtual sports worlds. Excited to see what can come out of this.
Absolutely. Moving on to getting disrespectful AF, the Doc's game that he announced this month, Project Moon from Midnight Society, will have NFTs. But wait, don't get mad yet. But wait. All other games that have included NFTs have done it in a way where you have no choice but to get the NFTs, making the games pretty much pay to play or pay to be good. Well, Dr. Disrespect has reassured everyone that NFTs are completely optional, and whether you have them or not, it doesn't change gameplay at all, coming in the form of only being cosmetic. The doc is doing it big and doing it right per usual.
Being skeptical myself, I'm glad to hear that they're optional. NFTs have caused a lot of concern in the community, so glad to see that the doc is hearing what the community is saying and is making these a matter of choice rather than a matter of to be good, you have to have them. So glad
Yeah,
to see it.
absolutely. This one is pretty darn cool. As we know, a significant amount of gamers struggle with severe mental health struggles, and games really help ease those a lot. Well, a new studio, Deepwell Digital Therapeutics, is looking into therapeutic benefit of video games. Studios have shown that video games have a beneficial effect on patients with depression and ADHD. The FDA has even approved a video game specific for treating kids with ADHD. Deepwell is currently looking at identifying existing games or games in development that might have useful elements for mental health therapies, stating, "Soon some of the best video games in the world will be recognized for what they are, which is powerful medicine." Deepwell will always be a medical company first overall, meaning all products it produces will have to be FDA approved first, which is honestly so cool, man. This is incredible news, and I hope this is real with only the purest of intents, because this could be some real modern day, uh, bad brain scraping, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a heck of a way to put it. This is a big step in the advancement of mental health studies. So I'm glad to hear research is being put into something that has helped so many over the years.
Yeah, definitely. Last week, we discussed all current harassment allegations against PlayStation, including misogynistic actions, harassment, and toxicity of male employees being pretty much pigs towards their female colleagues. For specific info, check out last week's gaming news video. Before, PlayStation wasn't taking the allegations of workplace harassment seriously, trying to drop the case against them due to lack of specific facts. But with 8 more women feeling safe enough to speak out, PlayStation has finally responded. PlayStation stated, "To be sure, PlayStation takes the substance of the newly submitted declarations seriously. Although most are by former employees, PlayStation has either addressed or will address the issues raised. As PlayStation values its female employees and takes proactive steps to ensure they have every opportunity to thrive and be heard." However, PlayStation is still not backing down and trying to dismiss the lawsuit against them, nor will they speak about it with all these harassment cases involved. The class action lawsuit is expected in April. PlayStation's statement sounds like a lot of hoopla, uh, very beat around the bush. Put that aside, I hope they get it together and realize people are people. If you have an issue with anyone due to purely discrimination reasoning, get help. If you can't see anyone else's side of the story, for example, thinking something of concern to a woman is just a woman being a woman, get help because you're part of the issue.
Just wow. I hate seeing these stories. Let's just accept people for people and all move on with our lives and just all be equal on this planet. Jesus.
Woo! High five! All right. So I salute the next company, man. Doing it right. Um, Bandai Namco Mobile is doing a 6-month test of employees only working a 4-day work week instead of 5 days. Namco has already tested this in Canada, UK, and Iceland, which were highly successful, highly improving employees' mental health and thus improving productivity. No way. Um, with other successful companies already doing this, like Blackbird Interactive, um, Eidos Montreal, and many indie studios, Namco has stated they are confident it will improve work-life balance and productivity, which, yeah, 100% great for them. With burnout and toxicity so high in the gaming industry, I'm so glad to see companies doing something about it, because it will not only improve the people, but it will also improve the company.
Oh yeah. I mean, exhausted, burnout employees are not productive people. And this is a real problem in the gaming world. So glad to see a company taking a proactive approach to getting some relief for their employees. Hopefully, this helps them and it ends up creating better games and experiences for both gamers and employees alike. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it does so well that other companies do it too. Please.
Hopefully this is the start of a change in the
Yes.
broader world.
Yes.
So
So ra-ta-ta-ta. Time for info-packed rapid fire for gaming news. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's a long one. Elden Ring has surpassed an astonishing 12 million copies sold. GameStop lost $381 million last year, hoping that crypto and NFTs will save them. Mark Zuckerberg has confirmed Instagram is moving into NFTs. Animal Crossing has sold more than 50,000 copies per day since launch. The extremely successful speed-running charity event Games Done Quick is returning to an in-person venue in Bloomington, Minnesota, starting June 26th. Sony has bought Assassin's Creed creator Jade Raymond's studio. Ubisoft's open worlds are about to get bigger with its scalar cloud technology. Very interesting. Elden
mhm.
Ring speedruns are now down to 25 minutes. And lastly, BTE UK is a project that has been started in 2020 of high ambition to recreate the UK in its entirety in Minecraft on a 1-to-1 scale, aka life-sized. You can join their Discord to be a part of the build or watch their videos on YouTube to see progress because it's literally insane.
I can't believe somebody is recreating the entirety of the UK in Minecraft on a life-size scale. That's gonna be a long process. Long. Well, that is all we have for gaming news this week. So let's talk about some COD, folks. Because COD matches continued this week for qualification for Major 2. Here's what happened. In the first match, it was the London Royal Ravens taking on the Paris Legion in Major 2 qualifiers. Paris once again came out hot, winning their first two game modes in the series. However, Ravens turned things around on this one and showed why they're the third place team in the league. Winning the next three game modes, London was able to walk away with the win.
Both teams had a solid 1.0 team KD.
All right. And then in match 2 of the weekend, Optic Texas took on the Seattle Surge. The Surge have been looking better and have been pushing teams the distance. However, Optic proved why they're at the top of the league at the moment. And after Optic dropped map 1 on Bocage, they turned things around and were able to close out the series in the next 3 maps.
Winter Optics team KD was 0.98 and Seattle's team KD was 1.02.
Wow. So slaying was obviously not Seattle's problem there.
Yeah.
And then in the final series of the day, Boston Breach took on the Minnesota Rocker. There's not much to say about this matchup beyond it was a test to see who's the better middle of the pack team. Boston came out and proved it was them with a dominant 3-0 win over Rocker. It's scary signs for the Rocker at the moment as they did not put up much of a fight in this one.
Winners Boston's team KD was 1.23, with Methods having an absolutely insane KD of 1.93. Minnesota's team KD was 0.81.
Methods was straight beaming.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the next game of the weekend, it brought Atlanta FaZe squaring off against that third place team, London Royal Ravens. Despite London being able to outpace all other teams in the league, they have not been able to handle their own in games against the top two teams of FaZe and Optic. It was the same story in this match. Many thought that Gizmo returning, they would be able to take this one, but when players have extended time off, it can hurt their game sense and being able to get back into that rhythm and pace of the game. However, I expect London to turn it around further into this major, but for this match, it did hurt them and they ended up dropping the match.
Winner phases Team KD was 1.06 with RCT's KD of 1.14, carrying the lobby. London's Team KD was 0.94, with Gizmo getting an honorable mention, getting exactly 69 slays and 69 deaths. Giggity, giggity goo.
All right. Quagmire would be very happy with that one. And then in the battle for last place, it turned up the heat in the next match with the New York Subliners taking on the Paris Legion. With New York, like Hammy said earlier, recently dropping Clayster and picking up Paul X, New York was hoping for some improvement here. Paris, on the other hand, was looking to get their new roster in Gravity and Jimbo settled in with a win and giving some relief to the pressure of being in last. However, New York proved they were better prepared for this match, taking the win. Paris fell even further into the mire of last place in the league.
Winners New York's Team KD was 1.06 with Neptune's KD of 1.15. Paris's Team KD was 0.94.
And then Optic Texas fought the Monsters of the Sea in the next match, taking on the Florida Mutineers. Florida had gone a perfect 6-0 in rounds up to this match, so they hoped they could continue that trend. However, Optic once again proved why they're top dogs so far this year, taking every single map that was played in this one and taking the series 3-0.
Winners Optics Team KD was an impressive 1.1 with Dashi looking dashin' in a 1.45 KD. Florida's Team KD was 0.91.
In the final match of Saturday, the Boston Breach took on the Toronto Ultra. After Boston's methods was dropped last year by the Ultra, he and his team were hoping to have some revenge in this one. Ultra had Ultra had a chance to take the series going into map 4, but Boston turned up the heat and put them in the dirt, taking the hard point game 4 by a score of 250-99. And then they did so again in the search and destroy on game 5, 6-2.
Winner Boston's Team KD was an impressive 1.11 with Methods again standing out with a 1.27 KD. Toronto's Team KD was 0.9.
My boy Methods had a weekend. I tell you what.
I tell you what.
And then matches continued on Sunday, where Seattle took on the Los Angeles Guerrillas to start it out. Both teams needed a win in this one, so it was set up to be a very fiery match. Seattle started off by mopping the floor with LA on Tuscan in map 1. However, LA, after that first map loss, took it on the chin and started to turn things around. In the next 3, LA looked unstoppable, taking them all and the series 3-1.
Winners LAG's Team KD was 0.94, while Seattle's Team KD was higher with a 1.06 and Sib's KD of 1.19 carrying the lobby. Just wasn't enough to get that dub.
No, it was not, unfortunately. And then in the second match of Sunday, it was the Minnesota Rocker taking on the LA Thieves. With the Thieves being in the best hardpoint team in the game, most had them walking away comfortably with this match in 4. However, Minnesota once again were able to come in and prove why you can never count them out. After the Rocker dropped the first 2 maps, they turned up in the control and ended up taking the next 3, completing the reverse sweep.
Winner Minnesota's Team KD was 1.1. Major Maniac spazzing out with a 1.32. Uh, LAT's Team KD was 0.90.
And then in the final match of the weekend, we were in for a wild one with the Atlanta FaZe taking on the Toronto Ultra. Ultra did not have a good pregame to this match as their player Kleenex tested positive for COVID right before the match. However, he did still play in this one, even though it was from his home. Or I believe somewhere quarantined in the facility. I'm not exactly sure where. Don't quote me on that. Toronto were able to keep this one competitive, taking the series to a 2-1 lead after the control. However, Ultra started to crumble in that game 4 after narrowly losing that close hardpoint. FaZe sealed the deal on map 5 with a dominant performance.
So winner FaZe's Team KD was an impressive 1.12, with Simpy Boy's KD being 1.43. Ultra's Team KD was 0.9.
With those performances this week, here is how it affected the standings in the league. In first, you have Optic Texas with 125 CDL points. In second, Atlanta FaZe with 120. Third, the London Royal Ravens with 110. Fourth, Boston Breach with 70. Fifth, the Los Angeles Thieves with 60. Sixth, you have Toronto Ultra also with 60. Seventh, the Minnesota Rocker with 50. Eighth, the Florida Mutineers with 40. Ninth, Los Angeles Guerrillas with 40. 10th, Seattle Surge with 40. 11th, New York Subliners with 20. And the needing a team change or something to change, the Paris Legion in last place with a lowly 10 CDL points. So that's everything from CDL this week. Let's move on to another game called CSGO. And this week, group stage continued in CSGO with the continuation of games in ESL Pro League 15. Group B was up this week, and here's how the games played out. In day 1 of Group B, it kicked off with another 3 games. In the first, Vitality were able to stroll past Sprout despite a difficult map 2, and were able to take the series 2-0. In the second match, it was the IEM Katowice champs FaZe taking on ENCE. However, ENCE were able to take the series 2-1 after dropping map 1.
The third match brought the neutral team of Outsiders taking on Furia. Furia were able to beat Outsiders in this one, taking it 2-1.
Vitality kicked off day 2 by taking on ENCE. ENCE continued their strong performance from the day before, taking this series 2-0 in a comfortable fashion. In the next one, Furia squared off against Sprout. However, Sprout was not able to do well in this one as Furia sauntered away with this one behind a strong attacking side showing. In the final match of the day, Outsiders were able to turn their fortunes around, taking a series off of FaZe in a 2-0 showing.
Even though the match went into overtime on the second map, Outsiders were able to show they were the stronger team, not dropping a single overtime round.
And then Vitality continued kicking off the day with another match on the 18th, but this time against Furia. In this one, Vitality's struggles continued as they dropped this one to Furia 1-2. In match 2, ENCE took on Outsiders, where ENCE were able to take both maps off of Outsiders, improving their wins in group play.
Match 3 was FaZe up against Sprout, where FaZe improved on their losses and were able to triumphantly win the match with 2-0.
Nice. And then the 19th rolled out with Furia taking on ENCE. ENCE were not able to continue their dominance as Furia were able to bounce back after losing map 1 to take the series 2-1. In match 2, Outsiders took on Sprout, where they were able to take the series after dropping a close map 1.
FaZe continued their showing from the day before and rolled over Vitality by completely boxing them out and only allowing them to win 2 rounds on map 2.
And then in the final matches of Group B, the first match was Vitality taking on Outsiders. Vitality was able to comfortably walk away with the match, taking it 2-0. In the next match, FaZe took on Furia, where teams kept trading maps, but FaZe was able to walk away with it, winning it on map 3. And then in the final match, ENCE took on Sprout in a tightly contested series. ENCE were able to take it though on map 3, winning them the series.
With matches for Group B played, here are how the results shaped up. First, we have Fury Esports with 4-1. Second, we have ENCE with 4-1. Third, we have FaZe Clan going 3-2. Fourth, we have Team Vitality and Outsiders going 2-3. Sixth, we have Sprout with 0-5.
That's a rough one. Well, that's all there is for CSGO this week. Until next time. Hammy, what you got for us in the streaming world?
Last week, we discussed the hate raids from Cozy TV that are targeting specifically women in the LGBTQ plus community. Now, hate raids for Black creators have become apparent as well, and they were skyrocketing through, especially in Black History Month, which was last month. Twitch acknowledged the LGBTQ plus hate, while those were at the highest with people desperate for answers. Well, now Black creators have unified as part of the hashtag Twitch Do Better movement to take attention to the hate that they're going through as well. People are asking Twitch, stating they had a year since the hate raids really amped up, with them getting big again. What are their plans to stop it? I hope they come up with some sort of solution soon so that people can stream and not be scared of hate and hostility. As a prior streamer, it makes the passion really scary.
There has to be a solution that they can come up with to get rid of these hate raids. This is unacceptable that these are even happening. And I only want to see an environment where people from all creeds, colors, races, and orientations can thrive with absolutely no hate.
Absolutely. This one just makes my heart so happy. World of Warcraft Twitch streamer WoW Grandma 78 was doing a birthday subathon stream for her 80th birthday. With 55,000 followers, word spread quick and the gaming community came together. First, Courage tweeted out in support of the WoW Grandma, with a link to her stream, bringing in a lot of traffic and love. Just 1 hour later, after Courage sharing the love, the streamer received over $20,000 in donations, subs, and bits, stating she can finally afford the dentures that she needs now. It doesn't stop there. Shortly after that, Trainwreck came in and dropped a massive $20,000 donation to WoW Grandma. Her subathon timer went up to 220 hours, with concern her PC may overheat. Since writing this, as of right now, I don't know about once this video goes up, but WoW Grandma is still live on day 5 with the subathon. I absolutely love to see the love being spread like this.
That just warms my heart.
I know.
I mean, with all the hate that's been going on in the world lately, I'm glad to see something like this. I'm glad we can all cheer on grandparents doing their thing on Twitch. It just makes me smile, and I'm glad to see that she can now afford those dentures she needed. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's so awesome.
Oh, so this next one, the childlike behavior here, man. So a year ago, Nick Merckx and Huskers got into an in-game disagreement during a Warzone tournament that is still ongoing. Huskers' girlfriend, Allie, aka P90 Princess, came at Nick for flexing his viewership over a random Twitch chatter, which then resulted in Nick saying Allie and Huskers have dirty rat energy. Now, 2022, it's still ongoing, at least on Huskers and Allie's side. So Allie went to Twitter calling Nick out, tweeting over a year later, and she's still getting daily hate from the MFAM, asked him to stop the hate, and then Nick blocked her. She tweeted the message stating he preaches peace and love but doesn't live it. Well, the fans of Nick Merckx tell his side of the story with only tweeting, Nick is constantly spreading nothing but positivity. He's gone stream on numerous occasions telling his viewers not to send any hate messages. The same person stated in a thread that Nick tried to settle it privately, but Allie and Huskers declined to do so. The truth typically lies somewhere in between one side seeming super petty and the other side seeming to play victim. Nothing more to say on this one. News is delivered to you.
Uh, Squash the beef, man. Just be done with it.
Yeah.
Y'all be
No, ma-
adults, talk to
yeah.
each other, be done.
No matter who it's on, cut it.
Y'all are grown. Come on now.
So streamer rapid fire next. Streamers are getting banned by Square Enix for showing the ending of their game Stranger of Paradise. XQC is mocking Nick Merck's fans after XQC got stream sniped by an MFAM. Spanish Twitch streamer Ricky XP is making jaw-dropping outros in skit form with special effects like summoning a nether portal that drops in his actual room, then transferred him into the actual game before getting blown up by a creeper. I love this. Lastly, Kingsman created a website to find streamers with 0 viewers to help find the small streamers lost in the big streamer world, where it's pretty much like Streamer Roulette, where you go on the webpage and it'll pop one up. The website is called nobody.live. Love to see it.
I'm not gonna lie, that Twitch streamer's outro, actually going into Minecraft is one of the dopest outros I've ever seen. It's actually, if you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's
so cool.
pretty dope. It's the dopest thing I've ever seen. I really love it. But anyways, moving on from the streams, let's stream right into some Valorant. So, Hammy, what are you gonna start us out with?
I will start us out here with Valorant. So Valorant returned this week with more bracket play to see who the top 2 teams would be to continue on to Valorant Masters in April. With strong matchups on the cards, teams battled it out, showing who would be the best. So right now we're gonna skirt because while recording this, I actually found some breaking news, which will not be breaking when you see it, but for us, it's happening in real time. So 100 Thieves, Valorant VCT announced that I have to read this on my phone, so I'm sorry, I'm having to look down. That they got rid of their coach Jovi. They thanked him for his leadership, but they said you gotta go. Then they announced the next chapter of 100T Valorant starts now. Please welcome General Manager DDK Esports and head coach Sean Gares to 100 Thieves. So this is a very sudden, very unexpected change that we just got news of. It just dropped. With that being said, let's move on to the games from this past week.
Yeah. Well, first up, we had Cloud9 taking on the Pittsburgh Knights. Cloud9 really were on Cloud9 after this one, as they were able to take the series 2-1. Pittsburgh was able to hang tough in winning map 2, but it just wasn't enough. The game was decided on the attacking side as Cloud9 were better on offense, which ended up deciding the game for them.
C9 won 35 rounds, and Pittsburgh was only able to grab a close 31, with Band's KD carrying the lobby with 1.24.
And then in the next match, it was Optic Gaming come into play in their match against Xset. After dropping map 1 in a horrendous showing, Optic turned it around for the next 2. Despite allowing cryocells of Xset to show out, Optic was able to stifle the rest of the team, which proved beneficial to them. All said and told, Optic walked away with the game with a 2-1 victory.
Optic was able to win 30 rounds, leaving Xset with only one less of 29 rounds. Cryocells of Xset dominating with a 1.63 KD.
That is dominant. And then the 18th kicked off with a surprising matchup of Luminosity taking on Version 1. Version 1 had not dropped a single match in group play after 5 games, so they looked poised to waltz past Luminosity. Waltz. However, Luminosity battled in this one, winning map 1 and map 3 in a very close fashion. Version 1 was a map 2, but lost it out on that third map, faltering in overtime and dropping both of those rounds.
LG won 36 rounds, and B-Dog having a 1.3 KD. Version 1 had 36 rounds as well, but just not in the right order to win.
That's rough. And then in the second match of the day, it brought the Guard squaring off against Sentinels. There's not much to say about this one, as the Guard easily walked away with it. Sentinels were only able to pick up a total of 7 rounds between the 2 maps. The Guard proved that they were ready to play, bopping the Sentinels in this one and taking the series 2-0.
The Guard won 26 rounds with Seiya players KD an astonishing 2.35, while Sentinel struggled with only 7 rounds won.
And then Cloud9 returned for another bout in the next match, taking on Optic Gaming. This one was primed to be a spectacular match, as both teams had been playing well. This match needed all 3 maps to be played, as both teams were not willing to fold to the other. With the game tied 1-1 after map 2, Optic turned up the heat in map 3 on Ascent. With Optic starting out on the attacking side, they were able to keep the match close with a 5-7 round count after the first half. However, when it switched to defense for Optic, that's when they were able to close it out with only dropping 1 more round. With that performance, Optic was able to walk away with the match, moving on in the upper side of the bracket.
Optic had 32 rounds won with Ye's KD of 1.43. C9 was actually able to take more rounds of 33 compared to Optic's 32, even though they lost. It just wasn't in the right order to win.
You got to make sure stuff's in that right order. The second match of the 19th saw Luminosity take on the Guard. Both teams were hopeful in this one with victories their day prior, but only one team could walk away with the win. The Guard was that team and was able to put up another performance like the day before, walking away with the win in 2 maps. The Guard was able to put up strong offensive performances, which was the deciding factor for them in this one.
The Guard took 26 rounds with Seiya players leading again with a 1.67 KD. LG was only able to take 15 rounds.
That's rough. And then on the 20th, we got our first elimination games in Stage 1 playoffs, with the Pittsburgh Knights taking on Xset. Xset was able to heavily outslay the Knights, doing so by 33 slays. In so doing, it showed with round wins on both sides of the game on both offense and defense. Beyond that, Knights were not able to do anything. Were not able to really get anything going and were purely put in the blender. Doing so, Xset was able to comfortably walk away with the win. And with that Xset win, the Knights were eliminated from Stage 1 main event playoffs.
Xset took 26 rounds with Cryocells again, completely dominating with a 2.64 KD. Pittsburgh was only able to take 15 rounds, same round count as the last game.
Wow. And then in the final match of the weekend, it was version 1 squaring up against Sentinels, with another elimination game on the cards. Despite Sentinels being able to better capitalize on their offensive rounds, they were not able to convert that into map wins after game 1. In game 2 and 3, version 1 returned to their dominant ways and were able to eliminate Sentinels from the playoffs. As a side note, this was the first time ever that Sentinels have missed international lands in Valorant.
V1 was able to take 33 rounds, while Sentinels took a close 30, with 10s having a 1.39 KD. No mas Valorant. Let's get into upcoming games and updates. So we have a lot of upcoming games and updates this week, which I love to see. So let's go ahead and jump on it. There we go. There it is. I was waiting on you to join in. EA Play
Tonto,
Live.
jump on it. Jump on it. Jump. Dun, 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 dun. Tonto, jump on it. Jump on it. Jump. All right, we can move on now. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm sorry,
EA
everybody.
EA Play Live event that normally kicks off in June with E3, which showcases many upcoming games and announcement, has been canceled. EA stated that they have decided to hold smaller events focused on showcasing each upcoming game individually. That is at no surprise, since most people don't get super excited over this event, as they're typically focused on E3 or other organizations presenting individual games. But I'm excited to see them focus more on specific games.
Not surprised this, but looking forward to what EA will be coming out with. Hopefully, they have some good things lined up for next year.
Yeah, Amazon's New World wasn't the MMO people thought it would be, making uh, with issues developers just can't manage to solve, and the end game not being good enough to put the work in for. Well, developers have just announced a new roadmap of the new content players can expect, like the conclusion of the game's main storyline, along with new endgame expedition called Tempest's Heart, new mutators, quests, and encounters. Also, an introduction of the blunderbuss weapon, PvP arenas, and PvP reward track. The game will also have more content in summer with new endgame and what seems to be the most updates in autumn. Let's see if these updates can fix the game's image.
It's good to see that they have a roadmap, but this may be too little too late. With games like Elden Ring and Lost Ark coming out, most of the community has moved on to these other games. Hopefully, this is something for the longevity of the game, but I don't think it'll salvage the player base.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one, Cerberus, but we'll see. Demon Vale, Rainbow Six Siege's Year 7, Season 1 is officially live, featuring a new Defender operator in Azami, a new TDM game map, and a new map in Emerald Plains set in Ireland that will launch later this season. Azami's gadget in the Kiba barrier, which is the Kiba barrier, which is a throwable canister that deploys a material that quickly expands into a bulletproof material that quickly repairs all holes, which seems to be very helpful.
Well, hopefully this character fits well into the meta and is not an overwhelming addition.
Yeah. Alrighty. Came across an awesome article from Dextero stating the top games of 2022, which is already turning out to be an amazing year for gaming. I figured this would be an awesome info to go over with everyone. So let's go. The best games thus far are Pokemon Legends Arceus, Lost Ark, Horizon Forbidden West, Destiny 2 The Witch Queen, Martha is Dead, The Almighty Elden Ring, and Gran Turismo 7. The biggest games still to come are PS4 and PS5 game God of War,
Ragnarok.
Thank you. All platform Hogwarts Legacy and Multiverses. Not League. Legends of Legends of
Leagues
Zelda.
of Zelda.
Zelda. Legends of Zelda. Breath of Wild 2 for Nintendo Switch. Whew. Newer gen consoles and PC games Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Summer 22 to Nintendo Switch Splatoon 3, PS5 and PC game on October 11th with Forspoken, and October 25th game for all platforms Gotham Knight. Honestly, huge year for gaming. I am so glad to see it. Let's go.
I'm personally excited for God of War Ragnarok and Hogwarts Legacy. I still have yet to play the new Pokemon and Forbidden West, but I hope to get my hands on them soon.
Yes. Separately, with one of the games I just talked about and you just talked about, Hogwarts Legacy is, we're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy. Here we go. So it is set in the 1800s, just revealed 14 minutes of gameplay showing how you will be able to create your own character that is completely customizable, learn your house, go to classes, learn spells, grow plants, brew potions, make friends, learn their stories and spells, and explore the entire castle and grounds freely. All fights, spells, weapons, and enchantments are all up to you and how you want to play the game. Plenty more detail released, but that's pretty much just the basics. I am a huge fan, so I am so excited. This seems so fun.
All the trailers for this game look absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait for this to come out. Hopefully it'll play as well as it looks in the trailers. So I'm really optimistically excited about this one.
Yes. All right, time for upcoming games and updates. Rapid fire, buckle up, buttercup, because this one is extremely info packed. So here we go. Newly leaked screenshots favor rumor indicating a successor to Halo's Warzone / Battle Royale mode being currently in development. Fortnite data mine points to Final Fantasy and Doctor Who crossover to come most likely with Season 2. Elder Scrolls Online is launching 2 new Breton-themed dungeons in its upcoming High Isle expansion to be released June 6th. Sniper Elite 5 is set to release on all platforms May 26th, 2022. Pokemon fan Avatar Nick has remade Legends Arceus, but instead you play as the Pokemon. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has a new DLC on the way that will have 12 new cups. Riot Games is developing an MMORPG with the League of Legends franchise, turning it into another medium, creating a massive multiplayer online role-playing game set in Runeterra universe. Guilty Gear Strives next roster will have Testament return updated completely and identifying as non-binary, which I love that being represented. Minecraft Snapshot shows new add-ons, which are Frogs, New Wood, and Mud, which is in the soon-to-come biome Mangrove. Horror game The Quarry is set to release June 10th of 2022 for all platforms. Overwatch 2 closed beta starts April 26th. You can sign up at playoverwatch.com. Asymmetric multiplayer Ghostbusters dropped its first trailer. Snoop D-O-double-G update has been teased. on Twitter for a COD, Warzone, Vanguard, and mobile DLC, tweeting, recovered these DOGG tags in Battle Royale. Anyone know whose they are? With a video of a very familiar cough and voice. Lastly, there's a new kind of game coming out called Chinatown Detective Agency that is like a point and click pixel art cyberpunk style detective game that has you find clues to solve cases both in game and IRL.
I cannot even begin to describe how much I want to see a Snoop Dogg character in Call of Duty. I
Yes.
hope it's more reality than rumor. I'm sure with recent skins that COD has released, this one will not be off brand for them. Just saying.
Yes.
So that brings us to the end of all news in esports we've gathered over the past week. Closing us out, we have our top 3 videos of the week. If you saw something crazy in esports or a crazy streamer clip, send it our way. We'd also love to start doing a subscriber video of the week. So if you did something crazy or saw something crazy, send it to us so that we can start displaying it on one subscriber's video of the week.
Alrighty, in no particular order, coming in at number 1, we have Nero of the Boston Breach popping off, going on a 13 spree on Gavitu against Toronto Ultra.
The defense, hey, have to take down 2. Did they do that? Now they have the man advantage off the rotation. They should be able to properly set up for this P2, but Nero's causing problems, takes down 2 of his own.
Yeah, great little job there for Nero. And I think in the middle of that play, he also somehow manages to earn them spawns for next. That's going to be something that will continue to go down as Nero. An excellent start to this game. Now sits on 6-1 to kick off Gavutu. Who cares about the spawns? Who cares about who is in the hill versus who is not? It is Nero's game as he will now earn a streak already on Gavutu. 65-0, and Toronto starting to panic as they're gonna have to set up for this next hill. Already with that in the back of their minds, they have chalked this final 20 seconds. Well, it was Methods trying to deal with the entire lineup of Ultra. He will do his best to hold off this one for as long as he can and set up Nero now for his 9th. Can he make it double digits? Slides on through. And this is a hard point where if you're Toronto, you cannot afford to give this one away. Breacher out and almost halfway there, for God's sake. And you've yet to put a 2nd on the board. Here come the Breach with the preferred spawns. Nero, give him 10 in a row. How about this guy having a series?
Oh my God.
12! Make it 12 in a row for Nero. He is snapping right now versus Toronto as Breach will eclipse the century mark, and all of it is based off of this guy. He cannot miss.
Spicy shots. I mean, those were clean.
Yes. Second, we have Rouse of Sprout with a big 1v4 clutch against Vitality.
This is going to be cheeky. Very cheeky. Magisk already contributes. Apex catches 2 slipping. Good headshots out of Rouse. Has he really got another one in him?
Did a 1-on-2 before. 1-on-4 is a taller task. And he has to
He did a 1v2.
That's true.
And the suitor on long. Can he get the time right? Oh, Rouse, that's sensationally quick. Oh, and catches Zywoo dropping off. He swapped to the M4. He knows where he is. Rouse to do another impossible clutch.
Molly's either way.
Molly exchange.
We can't push
You
it.
have to respect it. The sweep, though. Zywoo's coming to your crosshair. Coming to... Oh, Rouse! That's a beautiful 1 versus 4.
That dude was snapping. I mean, I don't know how he had that much awareness. In that last fight against Zywoo, he had 36 health.
Wow. Lastly, here's a funny clip of Ninja playing Fortnite, but instead of rage quit, it's embarrassment.
Something happened.
Poor buddy. It's happened to all of us, Ninja. It's okay. I mean, granted, you are supposed to be the best at Fortnite of all time, but it happens to the best of us, Blythe.
Even the best of us.
The best of us. You were the chosen one! Well, folks, that's gonna be our episode today for Lock Into Esports. I am Cerberus.
I am Ham.
And thank you all for joining us this week for another episode. We will be uploading new episodes every week, typically on Thursdays. We hope you continue to join us in our journey through esports, and we appreciate each and every one of you out there. Remember, always check your corners, stay locked, and get those dubs.